Good morning. I am Robyn Stout, a member of the Social, Economic, Environmental Justice Committee at Northwoods and leader of the Reproductive Justice team. We are excited to bring you this service focusing on intersectionality. We will discuss the quote interconnected nature of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender as they apply to a given individual or group, regarded as creating overlapping and interdependent systems of discrimination or disadvantage. We hope to emphasize how issues of social justice affect people in numerous ways. For example, women with fewer financial resources have more difficulty getting an abortion or other forms of healthcare. The obstacles might include needing money to travel to a provider and to wait for care, to pay for a hotel, and to pay for the procedure. Additional obstacles might be childcare, transportation, time away from work, and/or access to information about when and how to get the care she needs and wants. Her race, where she lives, her educational opportunities may affect her ability to exercise her reproductive rights. Upcoming speakers will highlight where environmental, gender, and race intersect with reproductive justice. My focus will be on reproductive justice, so let's begin with the fact that Northwoods UU Church is a reproductive freedom congregation. We publicly affirm 3 principles. Number 1, we trust and respect women. Number 2, we promise that people who attend our congregation will be free from stigma, shame, or judgment for their reproductive decisions, including abortion. 3, we believe access to comprehensive and affordable reproductive health services is a moral and social good. I appreciate that we are overt in expressing our support for women, their decisions, and their needs. Reproductive justice has evolved in response to reproductive oppression, which has included forced sterilization, forced removal of children, non-consensual medical experimentation, forced breeding, rape, denial of contraception, and abortion, to name a few. In order to better understand reproductive justice, let's begin with reproductive health. All people might need medical care for their reproductive and related parts. Planned Parenthood and other providers are primary players in reproductive health. Some of the issues that relate to reproductive health include how far someone lives from a provider, the cost of care, the quality of care, and appropriateness of care. A few years ago, Texas had the opportunity to expand Medicaid coverage to help more low-income Texans have access to medical care, but the legislatures chose not to. As a result, Texas has some of the highest rates of uninsured people in the country and maternal deaths. Having insurance squarely fits in the bucket of reproductive health. I would argue that our mostly male, mostly white legislatures exerted their power over many low-income women in Texas in making this decision. Their decision to deny many women access to health care is an example of the intersection between reproductive health, reproductive rights, gender, and financial resources. Let's say we have a person who has insurance and the financial means to pay for it and is seeking an abortion in Texas. If they are 22 weeks pregnant, the law does not allow her to have an abortion in this state. She does not have the right to the procedure here legally. Other states also deny women the right to abortions, as evidenced by the story of Senator Peter's wife. Heidi was 4 months pregnant when her water broke, meaning the pregnancy was no longer viable and an emergency abortion was needed. After waiting a few days, hoping for a natural miscarriage, Heidi became increasingly ill and needed an abortion. Their religiously affiliated hospital would not allow the procedure to occur, so the Peters sought care at another facility where it was granted, saving Heidi's life. Despite their financial and racial privilege, Heidi was denied her right to an abortion by her primary hospital. No amount of power, money, or privilege could get her an abortion. They needed a compassionate provider. Her story is not unique, and the right to a safe and legal abortion matters to all of us. Reproductive justice involves respecting a person's decision to have a child, to not have a child, and to parent any child with social supports in a healthy environment free from violence. You can begin to see how the quality of the water coming out of your tap matters to your ability to raise a healthy family. Think of Flint, Michigan and their lead problem. You can begin to see how the policing practices and racial bias of your local police force and the neighborhood matters to your decision to have a child or not. You can see how the depth and breadth of the social safety net matters to your family planning decisions. You can see how the availability of medically accurate information about birth control matters to decisions as well. I hope I've laid the groundwork for a better understanding how reproductive justice intersects with the environment, wealth inequality, social programs, schools, criminal justice, and more.